Welcome in to a special episode of the Roll Tide Rewind, where the boys are just going to have some fun tonight, and we are just going to do a quick little 2026 NFL mock draft the night before the NFL draft. We have some old-timers here. We have day one Roll Tide Rewind supporter James Ogletree, who is known as Adam Peters in this call. Cole is back, our longtime football and basketball analyst, and also we have football analyst Cameron Dickinson. We also have basketball football analyst Parker Lane, and we have newcomer to the Roll Tide Rewind, Michael Pascalato. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks.
Man, he's more excited than I am, I think. I'm only like two reallys excited.
Alrighty. Well, we're going to get into the NFL mock draft. Each of us has about 5 to 6 teams, and we're going to pick on who we think the team is going to pick, not who we think they're going to pick. We try to be very specific with that because you'd be surprised at how much that goes in all different directions in our heads. But Raiders have the first pick. Who will be selecting with the Raiders?
That would be me. And, yeah, this is the worst kept secret in all of football. I don't need all 10 minutes. Roger Goodell can suck it. The boys in black will take Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. This is a no-brainer.
Bombshell.
There shouldn't be any discussion about this. All right, good talk, boys. Jets, Jets. Who's next?
All right, I guess that's my cue. Yeah, we're gonna get
Don't
on to
screw
number
this one
2
up,
here.
James.
The draft really starts here at pick number 2. There's been
Thousands of years of Jet fans have been waiting for this moment, James. Do not screw this up for
This
them.
pick belongs to James Paskey.
That's right. Please pipe down, Mr. Jackson Berzeberry Lynchstone. This is my moment. Yes, it is I, Darren Moogie. At least I think that's how my last name is pronounced. I am the GM of the New York Jets, and I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to go with what Peter Schrager says that I'll probably do, and we're going to go with Texas Tech's David Bailey with the number 2 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. We, it's kind of an indictment on how much of an embarrassment our team was last year, but we didn't have a single interception. And one way to get some on-ball production from your defense is to get a better pass rush going. So that's what we're going to do.
Jets, Jets.
So do you think David Bailey is the best edge rusher or best defensive player in general in the draft?
Probably not, but I think that's what the Jets will do. I think he's probably higher floor, lower ceiling than Reese. Reese, I think, has, he's an athletic freak. Could definitely go here, but I think Reese probably has a more bust potential just because he's not quite as much of a finished product as David Bailey.
All righty. Now the Cardinals are on the clock. Ty Simpson going at number 3. Let's let them have the floor.
Not so much. There were a couple considerations here. I honestly thought Reese would go number 2. And if that was the case, I kind of knew who I was going to pick. But with Bailey off the board, I think I'm going to take Arvell Reese here to the Cardinals. They have a bigger need at tackle, but I think Arvell Reese, you can see here on this site, he's rated as the number 1 player in the draft. He's pretty high on just about everybody's board. He's also very versatile, and the Cardinals just need good players. I think Reese is a good player that you can kind of plug into any spot and hopefully get some production. So Cardinals fans might hate to hear that. Forgive me, I'm blanking on the name of the Clemson guy that came out a couple years ago that was supposed to be able to play everywhere.
That's who I was thinking of whenever I looked at this pick.
Isaiah Simmons?
Isaiah Simmons, yes.
Yeah,
so they may be having flashbacks to Isaiah Simmons, but I think Arvell Reese is probably a better prospect than him, and I'll take him here. Oh, and I've actually got to make the pick. Apologies. I forgot.
Yeah, he was supposed to be that magic linebacker, safety, edge rusher, do-all kind of guy, and then he just kind of fizzled into nothingness, didn't he?
To his credit, he was really good at Clemson. I did not like playing against Isaiah Simmons, even though Jake Coker did look pretty good in that game. On to the 4th pick, we have the Tennessee Titans, and the Tennessee Titans now have the floor. Who has the Titans? It's me. Asking myself questions. The Titans here, we have Mike Borgonzi. That's the GM, right, James?
That is correct.
Got to ask. James knows every single general manager in football. I just want to point that out. The The Titans need a lot of stuff. They're not good. They weren't great last year. They do have a quarterback. They're not going to be drafting a quarterback here. Sony Styles speaks to me here. I think that is the safe pick, but that is not what I think the Titans will do. The Titans are going to go crazy, and they're going to draft Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. They have Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, pretty good running back duo. They're only getting older. Draft the guy that you think is going to be the next best thing going forward. So I have Jeremiah Love going to the Tennessee Titans.
It's crazy work.
I dig it. I think Brian Dable's a good OC. He kind of got stuck with a crap organization with the Giants. I think he's a good OC. We have a little bit of a Bama connection. That probably wasn't his finest point on his resume, the 2017 season when he was at Bama, but I think he's done a good job in the NFL. I think he'll do a good job with the Titans offense.
Look who he was forced to start at quarterback.
That is
MVP
true.
candidate Jackson Dart.
We're talking about Jalen Hurts. Thank you very much.
Ooh, locker room cancer, Jalen Hurts.
Alrighty, we'll go into the 5th pick with the Giants. The Giants also a team with a lot of needs. So who has the Giants? Say it again, Parker.
Yeah, I have the Giants.
Take it away, Cam.
All right, I got the Giants. I think they would go Jeremiah Love if he dropped to 5. But given that he didn't, obviously, I think they go with the next best player on the board, Caleb. But no doubt he's one of the best players in this draft, and they'd be excited and happy to get him.
Sony Styles potentially going to the Commanders, James. How do you feel about that?
Hey, we don't get ahead of ourselves. We just take the board as it comes to us. So we'll react after this next pick.
Cleveland give a beautiful opportunity here.
I know the Bengals would love if Caleb Downs would have fallen to 10, right, Cole?
When they still had the pick, I would have loved for Caleb Downs to fall to 10. Now I hope he's long gone by that pick.
Hey, Dexter Lawrence is the next best thing, Cole.
That's right. I'm
They're
happy
going to
about
put
it.
his ass at safety too.
I don't think Andrew Berry here, general manager of
The Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Thank you. Sorry, Pascal. The Cleveland Browns are now on the clock.
I didn't expect Sonny Styles to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I think even if he's sitting on the board at 6 for Cleveland, they just drafted a linebacker last year who's had a really good rookie season. So I don't know if they would pick Sonny here, but he's definitely intriguing. However, they have really glaring needs at wide receiver and offensive tackle, and I think they should address that first. So barring any trade offers, which I think this is where those would start to come in for Sonny Styles, if someone wanted to jump Washington, I'll make my pick, barring any trade offers, which I don't think I'm going to receive any. Right, guys?
Nope.
Nope, nothing for me.
All right, then I'm going to do a little bit of a
I'm not going to offer you a trade, but I've seen some. Are you okay? Sorry, I'm probably lagging.
No, go ahead.
But I've seen like the Rams look to move up here and switch with Cleveland, but obviously that's up to the Rams owner because I'm not the Rams.
I feel like Dallas would too, with a need for inside linebacker, and they've been connected to Sonny a lot. But I'm going to take a wildfire pick here, something that I think it could happen. With the concerns to Francis, however you say his name, I think the Cleveland Browns are going to play with fire here. They're going to select the next best tackle on the board, and that is Kadyn Proctor.
What? Interesting.
Not a
Do you
top
think
two.
that's the next? Do you think that's the next best tackle?
That's
Crazy. That's
I had-
ludicrous.
I had Kadyn Proctor on my board at 28 for the Texans.
I don't.
I have been
I
hearing
mean,
Kadyn Proctor might go earlier than people expect. I have been hearing.
yeah,
that.
I agree. I mean,
That feels a little
yeah,
early.
Yeah,
don't
I'm hearing
think
it too, but I want the Lions to pass at 17 on him.
Thomas, do we want to do a quick breakdown of Kadyn Proctor here since he is an Alabama guy and this is the Roll Tide Rewind?
30-minute break. We're going to talk about Kadyn Proctor at running back for the Cleveland Browns.
But no, Cole is right. Alabama players will break it down a little bit more. So Kadyn Proctor was a 3-year starter at Alabama. He's a 5-star coming out of high school from the state of Iowa. Was rejected at Iowa for a long time. Saban convinces him to come. He starts 3 years at left tackle. He's like, I'm not going to come up here and say he's been the best player on Alabama's team because he has been at times, inconsistent at his game. When he flashes, he's one of the best tackles in college football. When he doesn't flash, he's getting consistently beat. Like against Florida State, he looked miserable against Florida State. He looked miserable against some other teams, but he's had games like Georgia both years or all 3 years. He looked exceptional in all 3 of the Georgia games. That's the best group of defensive line you're probably going to face in college football is Georgia consistently on a consistent basis. So I don't see him going at 6. But like Paskey said, the draft is kind of, it does show crazy things. Like Daniel Jones went 6. I mean, that was like a wild thing. Now it's even looks worse for the Giants. But anybody else have anything to add on Kadyn Proctor? Start with you, Parker.
Yeah, he's going to make a phenomenal special teams guy. He's going to be really good on trick plays. He reminds me of a Mike Vrabel kind of guy where he's only going to catch like 13 passes in his whole career, but he's going to have 13 touchdowns, damn it.
Yeah.
I'll
I like
add
what
that
you mentioned on that, Thomas. The fact that his foot speed at tackle scares me a lot. I think he's probably a better guard at the next level than tackle, but obviously guys that big that move that well don't come around very often. So I can definitely see why he's going to go high, even though I do have some frustrations with him from his time at Alabama. But I think he's probably a guard at the next level.
James, you have something to add?
Yeah, I was pretty much going to say similar to what Cole said. I mean, the measurables, I think, are the big reason that if he goes higher than people think, I think that's a big reason. I mean, 6'6", 350, a guy that can move like he does, like Cole said, is going to catch some front office's attention. Looking at his raw athletic score, which is something that, kind of mixed around all the time around draft season, he had a 9.28 out of 10, which ranks very highly. That's like, let's see, it says there are like 1,500 offensive tackles who've gone through the combine, and he was like top 100 out of those 1,500. So, he's got the athleticism, he's got the measurables. I think if a coaching staff can get their hands on him and kind of work with him on consistency and technique, I think they can really, kind of mold that athleticism into a really solid player.
Yeah, I've seen him linked to the Browns too. It might be later in the draft, but definitely have heard rumblings about, at least, not personally, but from different websites and sources.
Yeah, I think Strager.
But,
I think Strager.
But the
I think
Browns
Strager.
like Kadyn.
Yeah, Paskey?
Yeah, I think Strager said that they're all positional value out in this draft, and just it's going to be a wildfire. So, just did what I thought was best for the team.
Nice job, Sonny Weaver Jr.
Thanks.
All righty, we'll go into the Commanders pick. The Commanders, after an NFC title appearance, Jaden Daniels got injured. They would have been Super Bowl favorites if he was healthy. So now that he is back healthy, I would say place your bets for Commanders Super Bowl victory. James, what's your pick here?
Yeah, this is an interesting.
I bought James that
position
cup. I bought James that cup. Thank you.
That's true. Thank you. Shout out to you, Thomas. There are several guys here who I'm a big fan of, and I think Adam Peters, the GM, would be a big fan of. I'm open to a trade here, guys. If anybody wants to move up a spot or two, I would probably only look at the Saints and Chiefs. I don't think I would go to the Giants, and I don't think I would go beyond that. But if the Saints or the Chiefs are willing to make a trade here, I'll hear you out. Just because, we, like you said, Thomas, we overachieved so much in Jaden's rookie year, making it all the way to the NFC title game. I think we kind of went further than we thought, and we were like, okay, let's kind of push the chips in. Let's be aggressive here. We trade for Laramie Tunsil. We trade for Deebo Samuel. We trade for Marshawn Lattimore. And as a result, the roster really isn't that great, but we don't have a whole lot of picks because we gave up, I think, a total of 6 or 7 picks to get those 3 veteran guys in trades. So if anybody is willing to move up a spot or two here, mostly looking at the Saints or Chiefs, I'll hear you out because there are multiple guys that I like, and I think that'll help us restock our picks later in the draft. But if not, I'll go ahead and pick here. So
The Chiefs are out.
Well, yeah,
Chiefs are out.
Well, this is going to be a big prime spot if the Commanders do want to trade out because Sonny Styles is still
Sonny Styles. Someone's going to trade up for Sonny Styles. It's I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to
New Orleans will probably stick where they are as well.
All right. So Saints and Chiefs are saying no to a deal. So, and again, we're not doing what we would do in this case. We're doing what we think the team would do. And if this is how the board falls, I do think we would just stick right here and pick Sonny Styles. I think we're really looking for more athleticism and speed on the defense. The defense was really disappointing last year, one of the worst in the league. Bobby Wagner is a Hall of Famer, but he is not the same athlete that he used to be. And I think, Adam Peters was the assistant GM in San Fran for a lot of years, and he had Fred Warner there. I've seen a lot of comparisons between Sonny Styles athletically between him and Fred Warner. So I think this would really go a long way toward helping our defense be a little faster and more explosive.
I do want to
By
say,
the way, what I would do in this case is take Carnell Tate, but I'm doing what I think the team would do.
Interesting.
I think that's the right call. For what it's worth, in regards to Washington this year, I do have a personal investment. I did put $500 down on Major Tutty to get a DUI, so we're just pulling for that to come through at some point in the season.
Well, I don't know, Parker. I don't know if you'll be rooting for wins or losses in order for that bet to come true, but. Yeah, Major Tutty loves a party. Yeah, Major Tutty loves a party. We'll see. We'll see if that pans out for you.
I got that at 35-1, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I like those odds.
Alrighty, the Saints are now on the clock.
Yes, the Saints are on the clock and in an interesting spot here. I think there's a couple guys they would consider. I'm doing a little bit of last-second research here to decide who I think they would take, and I think Ruben Bain's very enticing here. But I think New Orleans is they might have something in Tyler Shuck. He looked very good down the stretch last year, and I think to give him the best chance possible to succeed, I think they need a better wide receiver too. Obviously, Chris Olave, a very good player. Currently, their wide receiver two is Devon Vele, which doesn't really give me a lot of confidence. I think I'm going to take Carnell Tate here. I think he's probably going to be the top receiver drafted. Maybe it's Jordan Tyson, but Tyson has the injury issues. So I think I'm going to go with Carnell Tate. I think he's used to being obviously a number 2 receiver. He's been that way pretty much his whole career at Ohio State. I think he's a very talented player, and the Saints really need help at receiver. So I think I'm going to take him here.
Yeah, and especially after Ruben Bain's incident, I think they're going to look more to Carnell Tate than Ruben Bain. Plus, the Eagles have a pick probably in this draft, so that's where Ruben Bain's probably going to go.
Cole, did you consider Delane there at all, being an LSU guy? They may, have some connections there.
I did see a weird stat recently that New Orleans Saints, apparently it's a big deal, do not draft LSU receiver or LSU players like at all. Like in the entire history, I don't think they've ever taken one in the first round, I think is what the stat said. And they've taken very few overall, which was interesting to me. But honestly, not really. I would my personal big board, I'd probably have Bain and Tate pretty solidly over Delane, and I think are slightly bigger positions of need. So really my thought was one of the receivers or Bain.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Alrighty, the Kansas City Chiefs picking in the top 10 of the NFL draft is weird to see, but Patrick Mahomes tearing an ACL will do that to you, speeding your recovery, Mr. Mahomes. But now we're on pick number 9. Parker, is this you?
What better way to ease a team with an injured quarterback back into contention than fixing 2 of your biggest issues? Pass protection, pass catching. They're going to draft the number 1 tight end, Kenyon Sadiq. They're going to herald Travis Kelce.
Wow.
Interesting.
They're going to run a lot of 12 personnel this year, boys. Let me tell you, calling it right now.
I don't hate the pick at all. I think that's something they've taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round. They take a lot of gambles.
I just don't see a world in which they, as a GM, you look at Andy Reid and you say, all right, Travis Kelce's not going to play for the next 3 years. He's just not. He may have signed a 3-year deal, but he's not going to play for the next 3 years. And Andy Reid loves that big primary tight end that you go to. I just don't see how you don't sort of groom Kenyon City for that role for Patrick Mahomes, the final 4 years of his contract or whatever it is.
I like the pick. Alrighty, we'll moving back onto the Giants.
All right, I think that they're
Gosh.
Yeah.
Pretty
Canyon City going off the board there. I'd peg them for and we'll
What did you do?
Wait, Cam,
run
repeat
that pick
yourself.
up to the board.
All right, okay,
Good
Jordan
pick.
Tyson. Okay, Cam, what was your reasoning again?
Did you guys miss it? I'm sorry. I was lagging.
Yeah.
Cam, literally every single word you said.
All we saw was Jordan Tyson's name pop up. We heard.
No, I was saying I think they're looking for another offensive weapon to pair with Malik Neighbors and
Lord have
all
mercy,
right, I'll just
fellas.
let it go because I don't know. You guys can't hear
All right,
me.
no,
So
cool.
good.
Cam, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Okay, now on to the Dolphins at pick 11. I have the Dolphins. Tua is no longer the quarterback. They have Malik Willis and Quinn Ewers. When I look at their biggest needs, the two that stand out most to me are their wide receiver room. They have truly one of the worst receiver rooms in all of football. Malik Washington, Tutu Atwell, Terrace Marshall are your top three guys probably. And then offensive line is pitiful. And I think that if they're not really going after a quarterback this year, you probably want to beef up that offensive line room. And that's kind of where I have been leaning that they go. And I'm going to pick, in my opinion, is the best offensive lineman on the board from the University of Miami, the U.
He will be the first tackle taken off the board, by the way. Not whatever we did here. That was a mistake on our end. But
Yeah, you're saying that as we've made 0 trades so far.
you think a trade's going to happen in the first 10 picks? Are you a moron?
Did you want to bet? I'll bet you $100 on that.
Yeah, the last time I bet money with you, Pascalato, you ended up owing me $600 for 5 years, and then you pussyfooted your way out the back.
Do you want to accept that? Yes or no?
Ask you. No, because you
Bet it
don't take your bets. I might as well say yes because you're never going to pay me even when I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
For $50?
All right.
For $50, would you say yes, Parker?
You can bet my whole house. You're not going to pay me anything. Whatever. Who cares?
Alrighty, pick 12 to the Dallas Cowboys, who reportedly were going to trade both of their first-round picks to get to number 3 after they got 2 first-round picks from Micah Parsons. All right, who's got Dallas?
That's me, and I think this board fell very well for the Cowboys. Honestly, I wouldn't say the Cowboys have one single need as much as they need literally anybody defensively. And there's 2 really, really good defensive players still on the board here in Bain and Delane. I'll take the one that I think will go earlier, and I'll take Ruben Bain here. The Cowboys probably with a slightly bigger need at corner than at edge rusher, but I think they just need help, honestly, and I think Bain's probably a better prospect than Mansour Delane.
This reminds me a lot of that one. I think it was like 2018 or 2019, where Jerry Jones is just sitting in his mansion and he's got this shit-eating grin on his face because he realized that CeeDee Lamb just fell to him. That's exactly what just happened there with Ruben Bain going to Dallas.
Yeah.
There are 3
I'm shocked
teams.
he's still there at 12. Honestly, I think tomorrow
Same
he'll
with
probably
Delane
go.
too.
Yeah,
There are 3 teams that will draft Ruben Bain: the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Falcons, because those 3 do not care about your past. Alrighty, the Rams are on the pick at 13. I am the Rams. Who's their Les Snead? That's their GM, right, James?
That is correct.
The Rams are getting so many offers from other teams. They're saying, you have no draft picks, blah, blah. Stafford's old, okay? We're trying to go all in. And how you go all in with Stafford is you have Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. But Devontae Adams is on his last deal of his contract. He's like 34 years old. You have no premier third receiver. But so that's what you do here. You want to beat the Seahawks, have another great receiver, and you want to have Mekhi Lemon from USC.
Like that pick. Seems like the obvious choice. Oh, that's me. I'm up next. Okay. The Ravens have the number 14 overall pick and the best interior offensive lineman still on the board. They're going to go with Iowa out of Penn State.
Go with Vega is what I've heard him referred to as. So you don't have to worry about the first 6 letters. I don't know how.
Black Sean Tatum.
I mean, Black Sean Tatum. Let's go. I mean, come on, guys. This is what we need. Lamar Jackson is still, maybe not in his prime, but still a fantastic, phenomenal quarterback. If they can just keep him healthy for a season and maybe get him 1 or 2 guys in the later rounds that could maybe develop in the next year or two, Ravens are on the right track.
Alrighty. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at pick 15. Michael, I've seen them projected to pick a guard here. Would that make them Super Bowl contenders?
No, it would not. We still have Todd Bowles as our head coach.
Todd Bowles.
You know, that was a little bit of a shot in the dark to see Ravens take that big boy off of our draft board, but
Talk about pussy fart. Call me out next time.
that's okay. You know, Jason Light is really a fan of trading back, but this mock so far, we have not been trading at all, so I don't see that happening.
Pasky, I'll make you a trade.
What's your offer?
Let's see here.
Do the Jets not trade up here? Like, it feels like the Jets trade up and take.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
I don't know. That's how I'm feeling.
Is Pasky really surprised that I picked as with that pick?
No, I was about to actually I was about to offer.
I've seen that every draft I've looked at, the Ravens taking.
You buffoon.
All right, Pasky, I'll swap fourths with you if you want to swap here and let the Jets move up. I'll give you 103 and I'll give you 103 and I'll take 116. So you're moving up like from mid fourth to early fourth, and you're only sliding back a spot here.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, bet. So the Jets are trading up to 15, and we're getting Mansour Delane right here. That's a steal.
Yeah. Makes a ton of sense.
Why doesn't this allow me to trade?
Because this website is not what you thought it was. It
No
sold
picks to
James'
trade.
email to the Chinese state already. So
Oh, for real? You can't trade on the site? Is that serious?
I thought you could, but maybe not.
It says
Obviously,
no
these fools out here
available
think I'm
picks to
talking
trade.
Just to be talking.
James, can you send me an offer?
Saying it.
Will it let you do that?
Oh, do I have to send it? Let's see.
I guess you
No,
can't
I should be able to send one.
multiplayer.
Yeah,
Are you
it says
serious?
no available picks to trade.
That's insane.
Just pick Delane here, and then I'll pick for the Jets whoever you actually want to pick for the Bucks, and then you'll be fine.
Okay.
We know.
I just get booted.
We know what's happening. All right.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay and New York.
Yeah. So now Pasky's on the clock at 16 with Tampa, and I'll make the pick in the site.
Yeah. We need a lot of help on the defensive line. Everyone knows this. I've seen Akeem mock to us probably in just about every mock that I have laid my eyes on. However, I think that there's edge rush help all around the draft board up and down. I don't see a clear-cut favorite between Falk and Akeem in my eyes. So, I'm going to take another wild card here, but I think Tampa Bay still wants to beef up the defensive line. And I think the best way to do that right here is taking Kadyn McDonald from Ohio State.
Interesting.
Not bad. The Detroit Lions are now on the clock.
All righty. I think this board fell about as perfectly as the Lions could hope. But I will say, I think if Fano wasn't here, I think they might look at Keldrick Falk and address tackle in the later rounds. But since Fano is here, and no one is probably going to offer a trade up to take their pick, we're going to go Fano.
It's a good pick.
I mean, the only team I could see doing that would be the Chargers for some reason if they wanted to move up 2 or 3 spots, or maybe like New England. But I don't know if anybody's going to bite there. So,
All right. Back on the clock with Minnesota. Minnesota needs help all over the place on defense, interior defensive line. We need safety help bad. We need offensive line help as well. I saw Kenyon Sadiq mock to us. However, he is taken away off the board as I expected. So I'm going to go with the immediate need to replace the other very talented white safety that the Vikings had, Harrison Smith. And I'm going to take Dylan Thieneman from Oregon.
It's a good pick. I was hoping he would fall to the Cowboys.
Alrighty, the Carolina Panthers are now on the clock.
That's me. I think they go address tackle here. Monroe Feeling, freak athlete. I think that's a good pick for him. Address, shore up Bryce Young's tackle spot, and worst case, Freeling can play all over the line. He's athletic enough. So we're going to go with Freeling.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder how many offensive linemen get picked in the first round. I saw a thing today. Someone had up to 7 or so offensive linemen taken in the first. Yeah, it was a crazy number. So, alrighty,
How many
Cole,
we picked so far? We've got Proctor, Maui Noah,
we got
Milane, Fano, and Freeling. I think we're at 5 so far.
Mm-hmm.
And
crazy.
Did I miss somebody?
no, I guess that's it. Yep.
I don't know if Blake Miller makes the squeeze. I think it's going to be 6 for us when it's all said and done.
It needs to be more, honestly. We're going to way undershoot if it's only 6.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see 1 or 2 more come off the board. But for the Cowboys, like I mentioned, they have a big need on defense. They did take Ruben Bain earlier, so probably not going to double up and take Keldrick Falk here. Jermod McCoy is an interesting one because I think a couple weeks ago this would have been a really, really good pick for Dallas, but now it seems like a lot of people are scared off by his injury this year. I wonder how much he's going to fall, so I'll probably stay away from that for now. I think I'm going to take Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. A lot of rumors around George Pickens' future in Dallas. Sounds like he may get traded before the start of the season. Even if he doesn't, they've only got him for 1 more year. They might look to move on after that. So I'm going to take Omar Cooper Jr. to play in the slot for Dallas.
I like that. I really like that pick.
Then, the Steelers guy just fell to them because they're going to take KC Concepcion and hope to sign a quarterback in the draft. Or not in the draft, but in free agency. So that's it.
Alrighty, the Chargers are now on the clock. We have 2 back-to-back receivers coming off the board. Are the Chargers going to make it a third?
That means you move the Chargers. It's your turn to pick.
Sorry, I'm back. The biggest need for the Chargers is interior offensive line. They were interested in trading up for whatever his name is before he got picked by Baltimore, so that won't be happening.
It's
Parker. Say his name. Parker, say his name.
And he is not falling past 14. This is ludicrous talk. The fact that you think he's going to fall past the Ravens? Are you kidding me?
I said we would have traded up. I said we were going to trade up. But anyways, I think there's a lot of different directions they could go here. They need defensive line help as well. They obviously need interior offensive line. It feels like it'd be a little bit of a reach to go interior offensive line here with what's on the board. So it kind of feels like a best available situation. And as I'm looking at the board fall, I think the best way to do that and address it is, in fact, taking a guy who's had a little bit of an injury concern, but I think will be a really solid player overall, and that's Germie McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he's healthy, that's a steal at this point. He's a really, really good player.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's either him or Peter Woods for the Chargers there. If McCoy is there and Peter Woods is there, that's a 50-50, truly.
All right, we are up with Evil Incarnate here with the Philadelphia Eagles, perhaps my least favorite entity of any kind on planet Earth. But I will be objective and I will do what I think.
Even when sour cream exists.
Yeah, sour cream's pretty evil too. But I don't know, man. You hear Howie Roseman's voice one too many times, and you're just like, I wish everything about this organization could vanish off of the face of the earth. So as much as I would like to pick a bust here and ruin their franchise forever, I will try and make the best pick. Howie does love picking guys in the trenches. I'm tempted to go tackle. So that's a consideration here because Lane Johnson is mid-30s. Even Jordan Mailata is in his late 20s. And they've had great tackle play for years there. There's a couple edges we could go with. What's that, Parker?
And great Christmas albums, too.
Great Christmas albums. I do quote, gotta hand it to him for that. That was pretty good. I'm thinking Lomu here. I'm thinking Keldrick Falk. I'm definitely something in the trenches, I think, is the route that I want to go. Looks like Lomu mostly played left tackle, but I don't know. I mean, the Eagles roster is very good, so you don't have to start this guy right away. I'll go with Caleb Lomu here. We can let him learn behind Mailata and Lane Johnson a little bit. They've got a great O-line coach over there, as much as I hate to admit it. So I'll pick Caleb Lomu. Maybe he starts out as the successor to Lane Johnson at right tackle, and then they eventually move him back to his more natural position at left tackle down the line. But we're going to make Caleb Lomu a Philadelphia Eagle here.
Whoever has the Cardinals, the 28th pick's available if you want.
Surprised you didn't go Falk. I feel like they just always get forward.
It was really between Falk and Lomo. Those were the two I was deciding between. Feels like offense is the bigger need. With Fangio as the coordinator, they can survive on defense. I feel like they need to bulk up on offense a little bit.
Are you going to press that?
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Did you make the pick?
No.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. My bad.
I think this is the spot that Arizona would absolutely have to start considering a trade up if they wanted to get Ty Simpson. Does Cleveland have any offers from Arizona for that? Who has Arizona?
Yeah, I have Arizona. I think Arizona would definitely be interested in moving up here. Let me see if I can make an offer here. Now, I do think a lot of these teams in the late 20s aren't necessarily looking to move up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something I don't think you necessarily have to move up to 24, but I think Arizona would do the 34th pick and the 65th pick for 24 and maybe like a fifth. Feels about fair. Maybe 146.
For 146, let me
Or
type that into
149.
my. Yeah, I think Cleveland would probably accept that.
Hold on. What's Arizona giving? I might have a better offer.
Arizona would be giving
Arizona's giving 34 and 65.
34 and 65. Okay.
Getting back a fifth.
Yeah, I'm not going to beat that. I was thinking about the Jets, but I'm not going to beat that. I think that'd be giving up too much because the Jets are sitting right there at 33, so they could make a move too. But
and it's not necessarily that none of these teams need a quarterback that we see remaining on the board, except maybe Miami. But I think it's more the concern of like who could maybe jump up, or maybe Cleveland taking Ty Simpson too. I mean, he's sitting there right for him, but we'll accept that trade for Arizona if you're good to go on that.
Yeah, sounds good. And I think this is probably something we'll see maybe not with the trade up, but we were looking earlier, and Ty Simpson currently minus 200 to be drafted by Arizona. Pasky, you're going to have to make this pick for me because we can't make the trade, but you can go ahead and select Ty Simpson here. Ty, interesting. We here on the Roll Tide Rewind, we kind of had our ups and downs with Ty for sure, and I think a lot of Alabama fans feel the same. But at his best, Ty Simpson's tape is very strong. He's obviously got an NFL arm that's hard to dispute. Obviously, coach's son, he reads defenses very well. I personally get concerned about his struggles that I've seen with pressure. I think he gets a little bit in his head when he gets pressured, but you've seen it in a lot of these mock drafts. A lot of them have him going in the first round. I think NFL GMs are going to bite at the chance to get a guy with an arm as good as Ty's. So I think he probably goes in the first round, and all signs seem to indicate that Arizona is the most likely spot on that. So we'll take him here.
Do we think this is a good spot for him? If you're Ty Simpson, are you excited to go to Arizona? Are you neutral, or are you kind of thinking, "Oh gosh, what am I getting myself into?"
Disappointed. I would be distraught. I just
Yeah.
don't think that they have the organizational-wide support system to actually develop a quarterback. I mean, hell, you look at Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was about 2 times the quarterback that Ty Simpson was in college, and they couldn't even turn him into anything useful at this level. So I think this is, as a player, I think this is a disaster pick for you.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned with it too. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. has all the talent in the world, but we haven't seen him put it together yet. Trey McBride's a great tight end, but I don't think, I don't think a great tight end is really moving the needle for you. I don't think that's really, making you think that's a great landing spot. I'm concerned about the coaching. Mike LaFleur is a first-time head coach. Nathaniel Hackett's the OC. The O-line doesn't impress me. They got Paris Johnson there, who's a talented guy, former top 10 pick. But yeah, if I'm Ty or anybody in his camp, I'm a little concerned about how I'm going to be developed and coached up. But one good thing is he has Jacoby Brissett there, who's a good veteran to learn behind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot that would make me optimistic in Arizona if I'm Ty.
No, I mean, you look at their list of last quarterbacks they drafted too. I mean, Rosen in the first round, and then Kyler Murray the year after, and it just hasn't worked out. I'm not psyched. I'm not psyched. Chicago's up next, and I think that if he falls here, I think this is a pretty easy pick for Chicago. It's Keldrick Falk. I don't think he's going to be there realistically. I think that Peter Woods is actually the pick here, but since we're kind of playing the board as is, I'm going to go with Falk. But I do think that tomorrow it will be Peter Woods from Clemson to Chicago.
All right.
The Buffalo Bills are on the clock.
We've come around to Buffalo. I talked to one of my buddies here in Virginia who's a diehard Bills fan this week about what he wants them to do, and he wants them to go defense. So that's the direction I'm leaning. I'm also tempted to go receiver here as well. I know they got DJ Moore, but they've been wanting kind of a true kind of big name there ever since Stephon Diggs was traded. So there's some options there. If anybody's open to a trade, I'll gladly hear you out. I think I know Arizona already traded up, and that's kind of the popular pick of a team that would trade up into the first round. But if anybody wants to move up a few spots or move up from the early second into here, I'll hear you out.
The Texans will give you their first round pick and then a 5th round pick, number 141.
To go up 2 spots.
Yep.
141. Yeah, I can do that. I think that's reasonable. It's only 2 spots.
All righty. Texans now have the 26th pick.
Texans got steal. Texans just stole it from Buffalo. I'm sure that Josh Allen's hands.
I think Texans need a little bit more on the defensive line. This is Peter Woods. I think he's the best value here, so I would go with Peter Woods on this pick.
Yep.
So I've been waiting. I wrote him down at 28 as just like a maybe option, and then as it got lower and lower and lower, I was like, I have to take advantage of Peter Woods here. Mm-hmm. The Texans probably could use an offensive lineman, but I think this is just a high value pick that you have to go with.
James, you'll have to make the pick on the site. Since it's still your pick.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I'll pick at 28 for James as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Frank?
That's 3
John,
trades, Passy. That's 3 trades.
there we go. Yeah, I think John Lynch is pretty unpredictable. I think he would have really liked to see one of the tackles fall. Nothing's eye candy to me at this point here. I'm not sure that they're sold on Denzel Boston. I'm not even have ever heard of the guy until like the other day. So, I think Peter Woods just getting taken off the board is a little bit of heartbreaking because I think that at this point the 49ers would just try to take the best person on the board. And there's one person that's been consistently mocked in the top 15, top 20 that has fallen all the way to 27 here. So I'm going to take, even though it's not a significant need on this 49ers team, I'm going to take Akeem Mesidor, the edge from Miami. It's fallen way too far.
Not a bad pick. All right, James, I pick for you.
Yeah, I had a few extra minutes to think about Buffalo here. I'm going to...
You got to make the pick on the side.
It's not letting me click it. Does it let y'all click y'all? There we go.
Okay.
All right, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
We're going to beef up Buffalo's defense. I think they're, when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, you always feel pretty okay on your offense. James Cook had a fantastic year. They brought in DJ Moore. I'm kind of tempted to go Boston, but I'm going to go Cassius Howell, edge from Texas A&M. We're going to beef up that defense and get after the quarterback a little more.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back at the first round at pick 29.
Oh, man. This is really hard, right? Because I don't think that Paskey said it best. There's not really just a lot of guys that I'm just screaming to get my hands off now. We've kind of hit that plateau that you sometimes see about 20, 25 guys. And obviously there are a lot of good guys still to go with. But at this point, you could be looking at cornerback and Avion Terrell sitting right there at the top. Now he is a little bit undersized. Maybe not the best in terms of actual talent. A lot of physicality there, but maybe not the most talented receiver. And so then you can kind of look around. Colton Hood, McNeil Warren. Size is not here right now for the defense. And so when size is not there, you go to speed. I do think that Denzel Boston is one of the underrated guys. He may not be like the top end speed kind of guy, but he certainly has enough in the tank to get past. I think if you go with a tight end though, with your first pick, you can't justify taking a wide receiver. Basically, I'm just floundering because I don't think there are any good picks for the Chiefs right here, personally.
All right. How about I, as the Jets, offer you 33 and 140 for this pick?
Yeah, absolutely. We smash yes. All
right, bet.
All right.
And we're going to take Denzel Boston.
Jets are on the clock.
Ooh. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Cool.
I like getting the fifth-year option on a receiver, too. I think behind quarterback, that's the most important one.
Yep.
All right, the Dolphins have their second pick of the NFL draft. First pick took offensive lineman. You kind of beef up the offensive line room. And then your next pick, I think, for the Dolphins has to be a receiver. Malik Washington, Juju Atwell, Terrace Marshall Jr. is not going to cut it for your wide receiver room. And they're going to pick who I think is the most underrated player in this draft, and that is
Chris Brazzell. Oh, ooh, thanks.
Chris Brazzell plays for Tennessee. NFL GMs avoid Tennessee receivers because of their limited route tree.
Yeah.
Tell him, Tone.
Good spot for Bernard. He'd be targeted early and often in that offense. I think they, like you said, they got just about nobody else. So be a really good spot for him.
3 Alabama guys in the first round. What can we say?
Would you have taken Bernard over Boston if Boston were still there?
I had Boston and Bernard written beside each other, so it was 50-50. But gotcha. I like Boston. Boston's a good player.
Yep.
But with him gone, whoopsies. But Germie Bernard, I've seen him mocked as high as 33, 34. So I don't think it's out of the realm that he could go first round. You can use him in a lot of different ways. He's been compared a lot to Deebo Samuel in the way that he can be run the football, catch screens. That's what he did for Alabama's offense a lot. Not really a big deep play threat that I think that probably needs to be worked on. But I also will give him credit. even though the offense had their issues last year, the receivers had a ton of drops. Ty was sacked a lot, and we couldn't run the football at all. Like, there were times where things flashed well, and receivers would get open downfield, and then Ty would just miss them. So Ty is not, totally, away from scrutiny. But Bernard was, I think, our best offensive player. He provided the best value to the team. When he was on point, the whole offense was on point. So I think he's going to be good in a lot of places. I would love to see him actually for the 49ers. I think he fits that offense perfectly. Same with I was also thinking the Lions, but the Lions have, they have two great receivers in Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then they like Isaac Tesla. So I don't see a point in drafting Germie Bernard. So, but I think him and like gimmicky systems is where he's going to be the best.
Ask you some strong thoughts about the Pats' next pick here.
Well, I got the Pats here, and I think Matt Vrabel's in the room screaming D'Angelo Pons or Cordell Russell because he's a little bit confused about what's been going on the last month.
There's lots of people's names that start with D that Mike Vrabel would be
Just
jumping
say,
out of
Pasky, stop being a
his
coward.
chair.
Put yourself in there.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Diana Rossini is not available in the NFL draft. She is no longer working for the Athletic, though.
Would that make her technically available for the NFL draft?
No, she's a free agent.
I mean, I guess technically. I guess I'm available for the NFL draft if they want to draft me. But for New England, I'm thinking Max. I don't know how to pronounce that, but
I believe
Arizona
it's
State
Ionicher.
offensive tackle. Ionicher. Okay, we're gonna go there and roll with it, and hopefully Will Campbell figures it out too.
All right, and that leads to the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. This is a tough pick because the Seahawks don't really have many needs. The one need that they definitely have is at running back after losing Kenneth Walker, but there's not really a running back worth taking with the 32nd pick, I don't think. So I think they can kind of afford to go best player available that maybe fits a need. I'm going to pick a guy here that I think is going to go in the first round. So that we can get him in here. I'm going to take Chris Johnson from San Diego State. I think he's gotten a lot of buzz recently. I think he probably sneaks into the first round. So I'll go ahead and take him here. And I think Seattle has a bit of a need at corner. They lost Reek Woolen in the offseason. So I'll take Chris Johnson.
Good job.
Okay, draft is complete.
List one more time.
I would okay, I guess I can save the draft, but we need to actually make a file that has the correct trades in on this.
Sure.
So, okay. So what did we think about the draft? Let me see if I save it to the drafts. Maybe it pops up somewhere.
Based on what we did, I think
Dallas
is the biggest winner.
Would love to close here, but I think
we need to talk about how the Jets came away with David Bailey, Mansour Delane, and Denzel Boston.
No, I don't think we do actually.
Oh, okay.
I liked the James. I thought it was good. But yes, Cowboys definitely biggest winner because
yeah, no bias at all.
Correct.
I think
it's a 5-way tie actually between the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Saints, and the Seahawks. 4-way tie.
What a coincidence. I hadn't heard the George Pickens stuff, so I think even if there's not drama, the fact that he's still on the tag, you get Omar Cooper, you get a young guy in there. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then you don't feel like you have to sign Pickens to a long-term deal after the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Do we realistically think Sonny Styles gets all the way to 7?
No. That's ludicrous. Kadyn Proctor.
I don't think it's that crazy. There's no telling.
I don't think it's crazy either. One of those elite guys is going to drop. They almost have to. If you see Mendoza go, Love go, probably a tackle go. I don't know that it's necessarily Proctor, but if that happens, then one of the 4 of Bailey, Reese, Downs, Styles has to be there at 7.
That's exactly what I've been thinking about for about 2 months now.
Sure you have.
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. I think there will be several guys that I like. I want Tate. I think Tate is my guy. I think we need young receivers because Terry, as much as I love him, he's in his 30s. He's coming off a year with injuries, and our wide receiver 2 right now is Jalen Lane or Luke McCaffrey. Like, we need any receivers, but especially a young, talented receiver to pair with Jaden. So if Tate's there, I would really like to have him.
Any last thoughts before we end the video? We don't actually have to leave. We don't actually have to leave the stream. I just have to end the recording.
Thomas, I was just
definitely
curious.
think
Could you
it's
actually tell
yeah.
us your top 5 overall wide receivers in this draft class? How you would rank them?
You talking to me?
He's trying to get some intel on fantasy.
I'm talking to Thomas. But hey, we're on Roll Tide Rewind, so
Yeah, we're on the Roll Tide. We're on top 5 wide receivers in this draft. I like off the top of my head, I like Carnell Tate. I like Omar Cooper, Casey Concepcion, Makai Lemon, and then what's the other guy? Jordan Tyson. I think those would probably be the 5 that I would pick first. I guess not in a particular order. Besides Carnell Tate is probably would be number 1, but I'd say those 5 probably.
Yeah, I like Lemon a lot. I think Lemon is going to be a really good player. I see the Amon-Ra St. Brown comps. I think he's got the kind of right mentality and the right makeup to be kind of like a dog slot receiver type of guy. I honestly wouldn't even hate the idea of Washington trading down 5 spots, pick up an extra day 2 pick, and then get Lemon in the 11 to 13 range. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think he's a really good player.
I think an underrated receiver, now that I'm remembering, Elijah Surratt from Indiana. I think he's going to be a late steal for a team. He's going to come in and probably even start for, I think, an NFL team. Alrighty. Any other last questions before we end this recording, fellas?
Who actually trades with Arizona to get Ty Smith or to get Ty Simpson? Who actually does it? Because it's going to be somebody, but who do we think pulls the trigger late in the first round?
I wonder if it's Seattle. Seattle has, I think, only 4 picks total in this draft. Arizona would not have to give up much probably to move up 2 spots, I think is all it would be. And Seattle could use the extra draft capital. Arizona could use getting a 5th-year option on Ty. That's the one that I think makes a lot of sense, but they may not want to wait that long.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that obviously they want him bad, but I'm not totally convinced that Pittsburgh pulls the trigger at some point, especially if it's late in the first round.
I think Pittsburgh would make sense picking him. I think Cleveland would make sense.
what about the Rams?
Yeah, sure. The Rams, especially if they're playing with Matt Stafford. I mean, those it's not a 100% perfect fit, but it's probably 80% going Ty Simpson to fill Stafford's shoes.
Are we sure Miami isn't going to be in the Ty consideration? I mean, they signed Malik Willis, I know, but I mean, I don't think we can rule out them from picking him just because of Malik Willis. I mean, look at the Falcons. They signed Cousins to a huge deal and then picked Penix at 8.
Stop.
I think they'll.
James, stop.
I know that's traumatic for you to relive, but I think they'll at least consider.
You got Tua now, though. You got Tua.
We do. We have $80 million in dead money, Cam. Just stop talking.
Yeah.
I think the best spot for Ty personally would be the Rams. I think that, I mean, obviously, with McVay, I think McVay's going to get the best out of him for sure. He gets to sit for at least a year behind Stafford. I think that'd be perfect. I just don't know that they're going to be in a position. I think they're much more concerned with trying to maximize their Super Bowl window right now than taking a developmental quarterback.
Sure. Man, wouldn't it be sweet though?
It would be awesome.
Even if Cleveland, even if they stay at 24 and don't pick Ty, they're sitting there at 39 too, and they got some ammo to move up. They got a lot of capital to make some moves.
All right. Well, everyone down in the comments, let us know how you think the draft is actually going to go. What about our mock draft is correct and what is incorrect? And don't be commenting incorrect things because all this is going to be correct. So until then, hope everyone has a great rest of your draft week. And I'll say your name and then you say Roll Tide. So for me, it's Roll Tide. Parker.
Roll Tide.
James.
Roll Tide.
Cam.
Roll Tide.
Cole.
Roll Tide.
And last but not least, Paskey.
Roll Tide.